Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Game of Life. In today's tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to build a live dashboard for COVID-19. The data that we are going to be using is going to be India specific, hence the dashboard will be India COVID-19 live dashboard. And for this dashboard, I'm going to be using two different tools today. The first one would be Google Spreadsheet and the second one would be Google Data Studio. Now, if you do not have prior experience with these tools, don't worry. Just follow along. I'm just going to tell you step by step how to make the dashboard. Try to follow along. If you cannot, in that case, I'm going to also link the dashboard and the spreadsheet in the description box. You can just make a copy of them and then start using them. Let's get started. So this is how the dashboard will look like, and we are going to do this in two different parts. The first part is going to be Google Spreadsheet and the second part will be Google Data Studio. So let's first go to Google Spreadsheet, and if you do not know how to open Google Spreadsheet, just go to Google Drive first. You have to log in with your Gmail and then go to New and click on Google Sheets. Once you do that, you will have your spreadsheet. You can just change the name here. And make it something like COVID-19 dashboard. Okay. So this spreadsheet is going to be the back end of your dashboard, and now I will show you how to pull data in this spreadsheet. So the data source that we are going to be using would be Government of India website. So here is the link, and the reason that we are using this as our data source is because this is authentic, and the Government of India keeps updating this on a daily basis. So the data is going to be live and authentic. Right, so if you just scroll down, here you will see the COVID-19 state-wise data, and this is the data table that we are going to import in our spreadsheet. How you do that? For this, you have to write a very simple query, and I have it saved here. So I'll just copy paste this query into my Google spreadsheet. So if you just click here in A1, then you get to see the query that I've written for this. So if you're importing data from a different website, you have to use this function called import HTML. So the first thing that you need to do is put a equal sign, and post that you have to write import HTML. It has to be followed by a bracket, and in the bracket you have to just paste the URL of the site you are pulling the data from. Because the data is in table format, we have written table here, and it has to be within quotes. And then the next one would be 1. The reason it is 1 is because if you look at the data source, this is the first table in this page. Now, how do I know this is the first table? I actually didn't. So I tried with 1, it worked. At times it might happen if you're creating a different dashboard and if you're pulling data from a different data source, it might happen that your table is table number 3 or table number 4. So you have to try with 1, 2, 3 and then 4 and then see what is working. So a bit of try and error would be involved in the process. Right? So once you import the data, basically what happens is whenever this data gets updated, the spreadsheet data also gets updated here. So this is going to be the back end of your dashboard, and once we create that, after that we can completely forget about this. We don't really have to come back here and change the data. So once we create that, there is one thing that I want you to remember, that the data range. So the data range that we have to kind of use for our dashboard would be A1, because that's where the data is starting, and then it is ending at E34. Now remember this, you don't have to do anything right now, but then again, while creating the dashboard, this is the data range we are going to use. The reason we are using till row 34th is because after that row 35 to row 40 there are few other data points that are not going to be useful for our dashboard. So A1 to E34 is what we are going to use for the dashboard. This part is done now, and in the second part we are going to create the actual dashboard using Data Studio. So the first thing that we have to do is to go to Data Studio. So just type datastudio.google.com and then log in with your Gmail ID. Okay, so this is the home page of Data Studio. So the first thing that you have to do is click on this, create a blank report. So this is gonna be your Data Studio dashboard page. Once you create the Data Studio page, you also have to link it to a data source. Now for us, we are using Google Spreadsheet as our data source. So we are gonna click on this option. If you see here, there are many different options. But for this purpose, we are gonna connect our dashboard with Google Sheet. So I'm gonna have to click on that. And then I have to connect it to the COVID-19 dashboard spreadsheet that I just created. Right, so once I do that, it will also give me an option to choose the sheet. So sheet 1 is the only tab that I'm using in the spreadsheet, and hence I'm gonna have to select sheet 1. And post that, in the last section you have to mention the data range that we talked about. So if you remember, we talked about A1 to E34, and that's the data range we have to specify here. And you can leave this checked, there is no action needed here. Once you do that, hit the add button and then hit the add to report button. Alright, so you have now successfully linked your backend, which is a Google spreadsheet, with your Google Data Studio dashboard. Create a table for state versus confirmed cases and deaths. So for that, I'm gonna click on insert, and then I'm gonna click on any of these charts because I'm gonna have to change it later anyway. So once you do that, you will have your first chart ready. We are gonna change the outlook of the chart. For that, we have to click on chart on the right hand side. And then I'm planning to use table with heat map. So I'm gonna click on that. And once I do that, I'm gonna get my table with heat map. Now I'm gonna be making some changes in the data. It depends on how I want my data to be represented. So for that, I'm just gonna make some changes in the right hand side. So right hand side is where you actually arrange your data, and left hand side, the dashboard page, is actually the representation of the data that you are putting in the right hand side. So in the data dimension, data range dimension field, I'm gonna add name of states. And in the dimension space, I'm gonna first add again name of states and UTs. The second thing I'm gonna add would be queued and discharge data. Sorry, just gonna have to add this again. Yeah, the third one would be deaths. It is just drag and drop. Is scroll down a bit and remove record count from the metric section. Instead, we are going to add total confirmed cases. Remove record count. Once I do that, I'm going to have to scroll down a bit more and add total confirmed cases again here. And then check the apply filter box. There is one small change we have to make here in the name of state field. Name of state is basically a region, it's a geographic data, right? And hence we have to go back to our data source and make this change. I'll show you how to do this. So here on the left hand side, you have this pen. You have to click on that. Once you do that, it shows you this table. Find name of states and then click on the type field and select geo. And if you put your cursor on geo, it will give you different options. Select region from here and then click continue, and then click the finished button. Now your Google Data Studio actually recognizes these fields as geo fields. We'll just make some changes now to make it even look better. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is to change the theme of the dashboard. You can choose anything from the right hand side. I will probably go with this. We'll see how it looks later, and then we can change it as per our preference. Okay, now the second thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move here you see in this column we have the queued and discharged numbers. So I want the states to come in the first column. So here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just move states to the first position, and then I will have the queued data, and then post that I'll have the deaths data, right? And then I have my total confirmed cases as well here in the sum metric, right? And I'm just gonna make this box a little smaller. If you want to change the style of the chart, you can just come here, click on style, and this will give you different options. So if I want to increase the font size, I can do that for the header. And then if I want to increase the font size for the data, I can do that as well. Alright, this is looking much better, but I'm gonna just go back to the 14 size font, and after making the dashboard, if I need to make any more changes, then I'll make these changes, right? So I'm just gonna leave it as it is. The text box as my heading. So I'll click insert and then find text box in this option. So here you have your text box option. Here you have your text box, and then you can enter your text and then change the font and the size. I have it copied somewhere, so I'm just gonna copy paste it. Copy pasted all the headers that we are gonna be using for this dashboard, and state versus confirmed cases and deaths table is also ready. I have also changed the theme of the dashboard to groovy. It looks much better now, it looks clean. So the second table that we will start working on would be state versus queue data, and for that we have to again insert table. And once we have the table, now we are gonna arrange the data in the right hand pane. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add name of state as date range dimension. In the dimension, I'm gonna delete serial number, and I'm gonna add name of state. Then I'm gonna add queued and discharged data. Once that is done, oops, this is gone, so I have to add name of states again. Yep. Now we will scroll down and we'll remove record count, and we will add serial number. So if you just scroll down, I should find serial number here. Right, and then we will further scroll down, remove serial number from sort, and we'll add name of states. And then at the bottom, we will check this apply filter box. Once I do that, this chart is also ready. So I'll click here. We just have to arrange it in a proper way. And to do that, I'm gonna go to this chart option, and then I'm gonna select table with bars. And there you go, your state versus keyword data is also ready. I'm just going to resize the table so that it looks good. Alright, so this data is also ready now. The table that we will be working on would be a pie chart, and it will be state versus keyword percentage. So I'll first have to go to insert. I'll have to find the pie chart option and click on that. And then put my cursor here and left click. Once I do that, I'll have my pie chart, but then again I'm gonna have to now arrange the data properly on the right hand side. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put name of states under data range dimension. The same data point will be added under dimension as well. Here I'm gonna remove total confirmed and I'm gonna put keyword discharged data. And once I do that, I'll just scroll down till the bottom and click on filter. Once I do that, this chart is also ready. It looks better now, but we'll do the actual formatting once the dashboard is done. So the next table that we will be working on would be state versus state percentage, and it is going to be a pie chart again. So it's okay for us to just copy this table and then paste it here. Once I do that, after that in the right hand side, I'm going to have to rearrange the data again. So name of state should be fine under data range dimension. Dimension should be again name of state, should be okay. Here we're going to change the metric and we're going to replace it with deaths. And then we are going to scroll all the way down and apply filter. It is already checked, so no action needed. So this pie chart is also ready. We will just do a bit of formatting and then start working on the last table, which is state-wise Covid-19 cases in India. Last table, I first have to go to insert and then I have to hit on geo map, put my cursor under this header and left click. Once that is done, I'll just go to the right hand side. Name of the state, I can leave it as it is. I'll have to add name of the state under date range dimension. This should be total confirmed cases, so this should be okay, no changes needed. And I'll just scroll down here and zoom area, I will put India. So I'll have to search for India and then select it from the drop down. Once that is done, I'll scroll further down and check the apply filter button. This is the color of the background, and for that first I have to click on the table, the map, and then right hand side I have to click on style. And then I'll have these 4 boxes where I can change the color of the background and change the color of the map. So I'm gonna select red for this. I'll go with this. You can go with any color of your choice. I'll leave this white and I'll select light green from the last one. Alright, this looks much better now. So I've done the formatting, I've changed some of the colors. Now it is ready and it is live. If you want to share it with somebody, you have to go to file option and then you can click on share. You can also embed this to your website. And as I said, the data is going to be live all the time. As and when Government of India updates their data in their website, this dashboard will be updated. So no manual updation is needed. Code is ready. Go ahead and share it with others. I will also link the dashboard as well as the spreadsheet in the description box so that if you couldn't follow along, you can make a copy of the dashboard and use it. And that's it for today. If you like today's tutorial, then please do give us a like, a thumbs up. Please do subscribe to our channel. And if you want to learn dashboard, if you want me to upload a tutorial on Google Data Studio, in that case, let me know in the comment section, and I will upload a tutorial for you. Thank you so much for your time and attention. You take care. Bye bye.